Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gift. In this video I'll be making this beautiful top. The top is the half length of this dress on the thumbnail. So you can use this video as a guide to cut the dress. So I'll be drafting the pattern first. I already have my paper. At the top of the paper I'm going to roll a straight line which is going to serve as the shoulder line. Then I'll start taking my vertical measurement. So from my shoulder to my bust point is 10 inches. So I'm going to mark that down. Then from my shoulder to my under bust line is 13 inches. I'm going to mark that down as well. Then from my shoulder to my waistline is 16 inches. Then I'm going to be adding 1 inch to it, making it 17 inches. So I'm going to roll out straight lines across all the dots that I've marked. Then I'm going to label the lines my bust point line, my under bust line, and the waistline. On the shoulder line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurements divided by 2, which is 8 inches. I'm going to come down by 1 inch from that 8 inches as my shoulder slope. Then from the shoulder slope, I'm going to mark my round arm measurement divided by 2, which is 8 inches. Then I'm going to connect that 8 inches to my shoulder slope on a straight line. And this line is going to serve as my armhole line. So I'm going to extend the armhole line out like this. So for me to get the midpoint of the armhole line, I'm going to divide the line into 2, which is going to give me 4 inches. Then I'm going to go out by half an inch from that 4 inches. Then on this point, I'm going to mark my bust measurements divided by 2 plus divided by 4 rather plus 1 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to connect the half an inch to the bust measurements. Then I'm going to connect it to the top of the shoulder slope like this. For the neckline, I'm going to be taking the width of 3 inches. Then I'm going to connect the shoulder slope to the width of the neckline I just marked like this. Then on my under bust line, I'm going to go out by half an inch from the center. Then I'm going to connect the width of the neckline, that is the 3 inches I marked, to that point like this. So I connected the width of the neckline to the half an inch I marked on my under bust line. Now I'm going to be inputting my body measurement. I've already marked my bust measurement on the bust line. On the under bust line, I'm going to mark my under bust measurements divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. On my waistline also, I'm going to mark my waist measurements divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to connect all the dots together like this. On this side of the shoulder slope, I'm going to go out by half an inch. Then I'm going to use my free hand like this to connect it to my under bust point line. So I want to remove this curve on the armhole. You can see the way I'm doing it with my free hand. So I'm just going to connect it like this to that point. So I'm going to cut out the excess part of the paper I don't need. So I'm going to split the paper into 2 from the under bust line. So I have cut that out. So I'm going to cut out the other parts of the paper I don't need, and this is what I'll be needing. So I'm going to extend this part of the paper because of the rope. So I'm going to use my masking tape to hold these 2 paper down like this. Then I'm going to extend this point. So I'll be going up by 15 inches. So you can make yours longer. It depends on how long you want the rope to be. So I marked the 15 inches. then I'm going to roll a straight line on this side. Then I'm going to trace the paper from this end to the point where the straight line is at the top. Then I'm going to cut out the excess part of the paper I don't need. So I'm doing this in order to make this part longer for the rope. So I'm done drafting the pattern. I'm going to use it to cut both the front and the back fabric. So I'm done cutting my fabric. You can see I added half an inch on all sides of the fabric. So I'll be able to hem this in, and this is for the joining allowance. So I'm going to remove the pin from the fabric so you guys can see it. So if you want to use your fabric as your lining, you go ahead and cut your lining the same way your fabric is. So I have two pieces for this part of the top. So one for each side of the bust. So I'm going to hem this to the end. I'm also going to hem the other side to the end of the fabric. Then I'm going to end the top as well, but I'm not going to hem the down part. So this is the one for the under bust. So I'm going to remove them so that you guys can see it. So I use this down one, the one for the under bust, to cut both the front and the back. So I'm going to unpin and leave the front. I'm going to place the back aside first. So I have two pieces for this underbust because I'll be using one as the main fabric and I'll be using one as the lining piece. You can see the center is closed because this is the front. So this is what I have. I have another fabric like this which is going to serve as the lining. So this is the back piece. So I cut it out the same way I cut out the front band. So I have four pieces, one as the main piece and one as the lining piece. I have two pieces for each side of the back. So I minus half an inch here from the zipper area. I'll not be adding a zip to it. Later on I minus 2 inches from it, so I took out 2.5 inches from the back because I'll not be adding a zipper to it. I'll be adding loop to the back so that I'll be able to tie the back. So I minus 2.5 inches from the back. So I'm going to place the lining piece and the main fabric on each other. I'll place the two right sides on each other. So I'm going to turn the up, the down and on this side. So before I do that, I'm going to sew this fabric as the loop that I'll be using for the back. So I'm going to make it into a rope, then I'm going to cut it and place it on the back so I'll be able to tie it. So I'm done hemming both sides of the front. This is what I have now. Now I'm going to attach it to the band. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the band into 2 equal parts and notch the center. So I'm going to start placing this fabric from that notch. So I'm going to place this side from the notch, then I'm going to pin needs to where it stop on the band. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Make sure you hem it or you use your lining to turn the face to the right side before you pin it to this part. So I'm going to place the lining on it like this, then I'm going to sew it on top. So you can see the way I placed my fabric. I placed the right side of the band on the right side of the fabric, then I placed the right side of the lining on them. So I'm done sewing the loop. Now I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to be using 3 inches. So I'm going to cut each one of the rope or the loop I'll be adding to the back 3 inches. So I folded it 3 inches, 3 inches, and I'm going to cut it like this. So I'm going to be needing 6 pieces, so I'm going to do that. Now I'll be placing the loop on the main fabric, not the lining. So I'm going to come down by half an inch from the top of my fabric. Then I'm going to place my loop on it like this. Then I'm going to pin it down. Then I'm going to place the second one from after this one. I'm going to place the second one, then I'm going to pin it down, then I'm going to place the last one. So make sure you leave half an inch allowance at the top and at the hem line of your fabric. So after placing it on this fabric, I'm going to place it on the other side, on the other fabric as well. You make sure as they are corresponding to each other, then you turn it with your lining piece. So you place the right side of the lining on the right side of the fabric, you turn the top, you turn the hem line, and the side where the loop is, you are going to leave the other side open so that you can turn your fabric over to the right side. I'm done with the front. You can see I sewed in the hemline in, and I turned the fabric over to the right side through the side of the front. Hope you guys understand. So I didn't sew both sides of the front. After sewing this part, the top part in and the hemline, I turned it over to the right side through the sides. So I'm done with the back also. Now I'm going to close the side of the top by half an inch on both sides. So I'm just going to place it and sew it this way. So I'm done closing the sides of the top, and this is what I have. So I went ahead to make this rope that I'll be using to tie the back. So if you are making the dress, you go ahead and measure what you have here after closing the side. Whatever you have here, you multiply it by 2 or 3 inches. It depends on how full you want it to be. Then you go ahead and cut your flea. Ensure you add your zipper allowance to it because you'll be adding zipper to the back. So I'll be leaving a video link in the description box on how to finish up this dress. So if you are interested in that, make sure you check out the video, and thanks for watching till this point.